Good Monday morning, everybody. It is March 24th, and I'm Chris Allen here with your 270 weather. Weather for the 270 area code and beyond. Thanks for tuning in. I've got an update on the weather, which is improving. We're going to see a few shower chances this week, and then we're already looking at something coming Sunday. I know it's a long way off, but it this next system is already showing signs that it could produce something that we'll have to pay attention to as we get on into the end of this week. Yeah, I know it's kind of crazy, but it's been a crazy season so far. Let's take a look outside the Plano cam, looking live, and you can see the clouds that have been with us last evening as the thunderstorms came through. And thankfully, even though there was a minor low end severe weather threat for southern Kentucky, we did not get any severe weather. It was all to the west and to the south, as I explained, it probably would be. We did not get under the tornado watch, and there were no, I mean, there were a few severe thunderstorm warnings in a couple of places back to the west of us, but that's it. And now those skies are clearing. As you can see, the clouds are moving to the east. And as you're looking at this live picture from Plano, Kentucky, just outside the city limits of Bowling Green, it is the current time is 7:30, or right at 7:30, coming up on 7:30. So that's the way it looks right now. So that's not bad. It's not going to be a bad day. We're getting, those of you that are still seeing clouds are east of us. So the clouds are eventually going to scour out as the day progresses. Looking back at yesterday before, all the storms hit, we had a high of 71 at the Bowling Green Airport. That's 8 degrees above the normal of 63, and we had a low yesterday morning of 39. Rainfall 34 hundredths of an inch. Now there were some places across the Kentucky Mesonet network that picked up a little more or a little less. We'll check that in just a moment. We're going to start with the radar this morning, and as you can see, there's everything's gone as far as the rain and thunderstorms. It's now east of Knoxville, Tennessee, and those thunderstorms have really weakened a lot, and they were weakening really before they even got here last night. If you saw my late evening post on social media about showing you the Kentucky Mesonet dew points and how there was a big drop off in those dew points, plus we had a canopy of clouds that kept us from getting any added instability yesterday, and that's why I made the call that, I don't think we would see any severe weather, and we didn't. So, dew points, that's a pretty good indicator of what you're going to get when these storms come rolling in, a line like that with a cold front. Um, Added instability is when you get the sun out. Now, the sun did come out a little bit yesterday at times, but it wasn't enough to really set the stage for a severe weather event for us. It did for other folks, of course, back to the west and southwest, but not for us. All right, here's a look at the satellite view, high resolution satellite view, and you can see the line of clouds that are now along and east of Interstate 65. And these are continuing to push to the east. A few high fair weather clouds scooting in from the west. Today is going to be mainly sunny, but if you live east of Interstate 65, you're still going to contend with a canopy of clouds for a little bit until all of this begins to move east. High pressure building in, and it's going to make for a nice day. As you can see, the current temperature reading here in Bowling Green is 44. So that's the latest reading at the Bowling Green Airport. We'll check Mesonet temperatures now and see what they're showing. And some of the rainfall amounts from yesterday. Here's a look at the way things are right now, just after 7:30 on your Monday morning. We've got, well, there's an upper 30 up there at the Corvette plant. 38 is what it's reading, but 41 on the southern end of Bowling Green at the Ag Expo Center, and then over near Morgantown, 39. You've got 40s elsewhere, even some mid and upper 40s back to the west. And then you have this area of 30s that's showing up back in the far western Kentucky. But otherwise, it's not a bad morning. Winds are going to be more out of the west at first today, and as you can see, south, southwest, and west currently fairly light. There may be a stronger breeze from now and then. I think the winds will begin to pick up a little bit better today, especially as we get into the afternoon more westerly. And then we're going to see a shift to the south and east, or from the south and east, as we get on into this evening and tonight. But there you go. Breezy later on. Okay, here's a look at the last, we'll go last 24 hours on rainfall from the Kentucky Mesonet Network. And you can see the heaviest of the rainfall was southeast of us over the Cumberland Plateau, where you had more than a half inch of rain, even up to three quarters or better. That's Clinton County, 81 hundredths of an inch of rain yesterday, about a quarter inch as you head up to Greene County and Adair County, three tenths of an inch, Barron, Metcalf, almost that much in Allen County. We picked up, as I mentioned, at the airport, 34 hundredths of an inch of rain, but at the Mesonet site, you've got 22 hundredths and 15 hundredths, a little bit less than what they showed at the airport. So it was kind of spotty with that line of showers and thunderstorms as it came in. Lesser amounts of rain back here west of Bowling Green, less than a tenth of an inch. But then you go back far western Kentucky and you see that they picked up 3 to 4 tenths. So there are your amounts of rain for the past 24 hours. Um, Decent little rainfall. And by the way, in case you're curious, I was this morning. I wanted to know, about where we stood for rainfall for the month. We're about to end the month this week of March. Um, and right now we're running at about I think it's about 4.5 inches for the month. And that's almost an inch above normal. So if you thought that we've had a little bit of excessive rainfall, you're correct. We are running a little bit excess. Not much, but a little bit. Okay, here's a look at the maps this morning. And you can see that high pressure is pushing that cold front and the thunderstorms that came through here last night off to the east. We're going to continue to see a nice day, but here comes a little disturbance, and we're going to have a couple of these this week that are um, fairly minor as they slip by. Here's one this is 7 o'clock this evening. We're still under the dome of high pressure this evening, but here comes the first disturbance that's going to be with us Tuesday with a slight chance of a shower, and this is going to be sometime late tonight, early tomorrow morning. As you can see, this is just after midnight. That little system just kind of flies by, pushes a little bit of rain with us. I don't think it's going to be that much. And then as we get into 7 o'clock Tuesday night, some showers east of us. There's a high pressure there, but I guess you could call it a dirty high. We call it that when there's some precipitation with it, but higher pressure, 1020 millibar. So yeah, it's it's not all that really great, but it's one of those situations where we just have a little bit of undercutting moisture associated with that. Here comes the next disturbance in line back to the west on Wednesday. It'll come through pretty quickly. I don't think we'll see much out of that one. But as we get closer to the weekend, we're watching a system that is going to come in to the west and it's going to progress eastward as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, here's Thursday morning. Yeah, a mostly sunny day, but then by Thursday evening into Friday morning, here come the showers and maybe even some thunderstorms. This one doesn't look too, um, stout. This is not a very stout system. You see right there, 1016 millibars. That's still kind of high. Um, some additional wind, starting to see a tightening of the isobars here. So there will be some breezy times with that one as we get into Friday. Saturday, now we're starting to get some organization. This next piece of energy coming in is going to be a bit stronger, therefore, better chance of rain and thunderstorms and gusty winds. It is Sunday that we're looking at the better setup for wind, rain, thunderstorms, and possibly some severe weather. Yeah. Here is the outlook, I should say, from the Storm Prediction Center. And you can see that, look at that, how quiet it is today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, here we go. Okay, Saturday. This is this coming Saturday. There will be a severe weather threat to the west. But here's Sunday. And look, already a highlighted 15 to 30% probability of severe weather covers the entire state of Kentucky. Now, here's what you're going to see. I can go ahead and tell you because I've already seen it this morning. If you're perusing and you're scrolling social media, the hypesters are already on this. Oh, it's going to be big. It's going to be terrible. It's going to have big red letters, warning, big storm coming. Be scared. Come on. It's way too soon for that. This is just the Storm Prediction Center saying we see where the best ingredients are going to be for a possible severe weather threat. And it's a pretty large area, which means they haven't defined this. They haven't shored it down yet because it's too soon. It's too soon. So if you're scrolling Facebook and you're scrolling, X or Instagram or anything else, TikTok, they're already out there. They're already those people that want the clicks, the likes, the shares. They're already going off on this storm. And as you have seen with previous posts from the same people, they're not always correct. Okay. Now that it's easy to say that some of these storms, like we saw, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Um, that one was an easy call, but you saw what it did here. It just fell apart. We didn't get anything. But yet there were tornadoes and large hail back into far western Kentucky, Owensboro and parts of Missouri, it's like this is a pretty broad area that's already been painted in. All it says is the possibility exists. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But then you'll get somebody who's got, and they have access to all these models and all these maps. They didn't used to be out there like that. But now with internet, social media, and all that, they can go in and they can find these maps and they can find the right one. that says, "Look at this. Oh my goodness. Look how bad this is going to be." And they scare you to death. Just do not, please do not buy into that. There's even been a few that, you know, I wish I could call them out. I wish I could, but I fear that if I did and they found out, I could be sued for defamation. I could be, at least threatened, but there's some big names out there that are going around in their vehicles and they're scaring people because they're so deep into it that they can't see that they're not being, you know, understanding to you guys that are scared of these things, that have weather anxiety. And I know what weather anxiety is because I used to suffer from it. But it's the whole reason why I got into weather because I learned a lot from that. And so I understand. I understand how you feel, but just don't buy into it, please. And for goodness gracious sake, do not take what they post and share it. That's what they want you to do. Whether you share my stuff or not, or whether I get a bunch of clicks, likes, and shares, I don't care. I don't care. I have a competitive spirit in me naturally. Sometimes I want to care and I want to, why aren't my numbers bigger? Well, it's because I don't hype anything. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants, I guess I'm boring, but I don't care. What I care about is getting this right. And just about every time this season so far that everything's been hyped, I've been like, nope, 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 nope. And every time I think I've been more right than they have. It's like these are thunderstorms. These are not tornado producing systems for us, for the 270. Somebody else? Yeah. And if it does look like it's going to be for us, the 270, I will let you know. It's that simple. Just because I'm not hyping it up like them and throwing all these graphics and big colors and big letters and oh my God, you know, it doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. It just means that they're hyping it up. So they're satisfying advertisers and all that. I don't worry about that. Okay. So anyway, I'll keep an eye on it all week. We'll see what happens. Here we go. The next several days, temperatures running normal 60s. There's that period of 70s this weekend, and that's going to help fuel the possibility of severe weather on Sunday because we go from 76 to 62. So there's a little bit of a reset there with that cold front coming in on Sunday. Yeah. So that's it. Okay. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. We go 65 today, mostly sunny, breezy after some of these morning clouds continue to clear out. 45 clear, mainly clear tonight. But there will be clouds that come back in with that little disturbance I showed you, with a slight chance of a shower tomorrow morning. Slight. 66 tomorrow, skies will begin to clear out a little. 63 Wednesday, another disturbance Thursday, 65. Then we hop into those warmer 70s for the weekend, which is great if you want to get outside and do some yard work and things like that for this weekend, mid 70s. But it's also going to give rise to that possible, possible severe weather threat on Sunday. You see there the chance 40%, but actually it's gone up to 70%. So this graphic from Micah last night, but since has been updated. So we're looking at a better chance of thunderstorms on Sunday. All right. Sorry for going off a little this morning, but oh well, it is what it is. You guys, I thank you for you. I'm thankful for you listening to me and not the hypesters and not the grandstanders. Yeah, I'm always going to take that road of look, let's not look at how bad it could be. Let's look at how better it could be. And if you're prepared, then even when it's bad, even when we say, okay, here it comes, this is going to be bad, you will be prepared. That's the key. God bless you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tonight on News 40 at 5, 6, and 10. God bless.